Afternoon to all of you, and welcome to this program on communication essentials. Right? My name is PM Chandrasekhar. I'm an alumnus of this institute and also from IIM Ahmedabad. Way back in 77, 79. IIT was 2 years before that. I've been working in corporate organizations, mainly in marketing and sales. I was heading a business unit. Then I set up my own business on training. 2005 based in Chennai. Now I moved on to another company, that's my own company in training itself from 2018 onwards. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm very sure that I will be able to provide some value to you for having invested 2 or 3 hours. Okay? So, a few essentials. Please put them off. Please keep your devices on silent mode. In case you have to take a urgent call, please feel free, but then try to be here right through the program. Those are my coordinates, and you can call me Chandra, okay, or PMC if you would like, because that's my initial, so either way is fine with me. You can avoid calling me sir and all that. Okay, good. And I just met a few of you, and one thing which is very, very refreshing is that in the startup space, almost the 3-4 of the people whom I met were all in hardcore engineering, where startup, the very idea of startup gives you a picture of IT and ITES. This is very, very refreshing, and I am more excited to hear that. Okay, so let's get moving. We are going to be together for another 2.5 hours roughly. I think 6 o'clock is roughly will be the hard stop. If anyone gets bored before that, please raise your hand and we can wind up during that time. The mode I would like to interact with you is that I have a presentation, and we will cover the entire journey of communication, beginning to from abstract to specifics. That's the way I normally go through, a kind of a funneling approach. And we'll also know how actually we can write a good communication and things like that. And questions. At any time when you have a question, please put up your hand and get it clarified there and then. There is no separate question answer at the end, because you could forget. So roughly I have planned for about 2 hours of our discussion and 30 minutes for question answer and additional issues which you may face on a day-to-day basis. Okay? So having said that, let's keep moving. Word power is a name I have given here. It was quite a challenge when I started making this slide set. Similar program I have done for corporate companies, 2012 onwards, different versions. So there I have named it pen power. I started thinking whether does pen make any sense at all. Because during my training programs in IT companies, I have seen people coming to the training hall without anything to write upon. So when I ask somebody to take notes or write something, they say, please give me a pen. Okay, makes it very, very, it made me think. So finally I said, okay, compromise, I will call it word power. And written business communication 101 for startups. Could be, you might feel that this 101 is probably highly presumptuous, but we can discuss any length. I will only be limited by what I know. So you can keep asking anything. The worst is that I'll say I don't know. Okay? So don't get taken in by that 101. And from your incubation center, they talk about training tips and tools. In that triumvirate of T, this program, I have designed it as a tips. It's not a training because you won't be doing much on hands-on. That takes quite a long time. And the tools, as it is, I'm not going to be telling you any software or applications or things like that. Therefore, it's more on the tips part of it. And some examples we will give, and I would like you to interact with me whenever I'm asking you a few questions. Are we on that? Great. So the picture itself tells you the fusion of classical writing, the act of classical act of writing with a pen, paper, quill, or whatever it is, onto the modern gadgets, keyboard and mobile phones and things like that. And therein lies a challenge. So how do we really get across to people in modern era and mastering the tools, and what are the challenges? That's what we are going to be discussing. These are a couple of resources on which I have based most of my material. The concepts are similar, but the actual, some of the diagrams, some of the pictures I have taken from these two resources, and they are available for display over here. Okay? And a couple of words here. This book is a 14th edition, 2018 edition. I found it very, very useful because it covers the entire range of modern communication tools or softwares or facilities or whatever you may call it. It covers the entire thing. It's more than 800 pages, so I bought a copy for myself. And number two is this one, our old faithful Oxford. Not the dictionary, not the thesaurus, but the English language set, which gives you all the issues like plain English, simple usage, words, simple punctuation, grammar, and things like that. This particular image is a book of a set of 5, while I have had in 2011 a set of 4. Okay, so I strongly urge all of you, if not a personal copy, at least a copy for your library. Books of this nature. Okay, so that is something. So some of this material I will be using here, and disclaimer, I receive no commission from either of them in case you end up buying this book. So it's purely a first-hand experience and a recommendation, right? Okay, good. Let me explain why I have put this slide a little later in the presentation. And before that, I'd like to ask you a question. What makes you to be here? Why are you here, in the sense that why have you decided to be here for about 2.5 hours listening to something very, very basic as communication, and that too written communication, for God's sake. Okay. So why are we here, and what would you like to take away from this program when we draw the curtains by around 6 o'clock? Please. What would you like to take away, and what are the reasons why you are here? I said interaction. Sorry? Learn from? Learn what? Learn from a pro is fine. Thank you for calling me a pro, but sir? Communication strategies. Oh, wow. Can you expand a bit on the strategies part of it? It's a very wide encompassing term, talked also at the corporate level of organizations. So what do you actually want us to understand by strategy, communication strategy? What aspects do you cover? I mean, what are different that? Okay. With whom? Okay, with clients and? Okay, clients. Marketing, that means, do you mean customers? Yeah. Great. Yeah, anything else? Somebody else? Vendors. Okay, communicating with the vendors, good. How to yell at them when they don't deliver or deliver the wrong thing, right? Fantastic, fantastic. Amicable replies. Okay, very good, very good. Great. Others? Sorry? Investors. So what do they want to know? How to communicate with investors. Yeah, okay, good. Great. So you want to communicate effectively with many of these people, vendors, suppliers, customers, etc. What do you understand by effective communication? I want to communicate effectively means? Short. So he would like to say, give me $3 million and they will give it. Is it as crisp as that? Concise, okay. Customers, what would you like to communicate with? Clients. We don't know them face to face, but yet they need to buy our products. That's where the cash register keeps ringing, correct? Fantastic. So you would like crisply communicate, that means concise, and what the outcome you would expect from your communication? Outcome. Okay, you send a mail, you send a letter, or whatever may be. So what is the outcome you expect? Reply. Reply, money. In the case of customer, you want an order. In the case of vendor, right product at the right price at the right time. Relationship. You would like to build relationship also, right? Okay, great. So, there are different people you would like to communicate, and by effectiveness, what you mean is different outcomes, probably different outcomes at different points of time from different, shall we say, set of people. Am I right? That's what we would like to call it effective business communication. Right. So let's leave me at this slide. I'll still explain to you a little later. We'll move further. Why is effective communication important to your business and to you or others in your organization, according to you? Why is it important? Want to do that, all that is fine. Why is it important? Maybe some other people came just now to participate. Why is it important? Why should you be crisp in your communication? Why should you build relationships? How important is it? Why is it important? Okay. 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 So you may not get what you want, so it is that important. So in this case, if investor doesn't give you the money, right kind of money at the right time, your progress may be suffering. Orders, if they are delayed or they don't get it, then you have a problem. So you want something to be achieved out of that. Therefore, so would I be right in saying that your business success depends upon the other people with whom you are communicating with, doing something you like or you desire? Am I right in saying that? Okay. So it is that important that for the business, you as a person, why is it important? Does it make any difference at all? You have got your customers for the company, funding for the company, suppliers lined up for the company, business, no problem. I will use words like organization, company, and business interchangeably. What's in it for you personally? Confidence. You improve your confidence, okay, by getting things done. Very good. Yeah. If you, when you write, your credential is. Okay, so would you find another word for it? It builds up the personality in the eyes of somebody else. Brand, yes, brand and brand image. Very good. Yeah, you were saying something. Okay. Okay. So, in other words, communication, as the way you communicate individually or on behalf of your business, it does have an impact on that you create for yourself or your business. Okay? Great. So, we are already ahead of what we've been doing. And let's see, I'm going to show you 4 messages. Let's say email messages. Let's not complicate things. I'm only going to show you the text of it. I'd like you to see each of the messages and find out what you feel, your impression about the message, anything about the message, about the person, about the company, about the person who wrote, about the company, and about the message itself. Okay? Here we go. Number 1. Message from Mr. Ajay. Please write down your impressions on your notebook. We'll discuss. The 4 such messages will come. Done? Let's move on to the second one. Okay. Mr. Suresh. Impressions on message, sender, and the organization. And of course, what do you think the receiver will do? Take some quick notes. Can we go for the next? Studying. Okay, number 3, Mr. Bal Kumar. Sender, receiver, and the organization, and what the receiver will do. An extra minute because the message is long here. Okay, last one. Can I move to the last one? Next one? Yeah. Mr. Satish. Done? Okay, one situation, or the situation is the same, or all the 4 messages talking about the same situation. One situation, 4 messages, and what are your impressions? What is the writer seeking, and who will be most successful, and why? Okay, okay. Service engineer to be deployed, yes. Yeah. Who will be most successful? Satish. Okay. Reason?
It is very clear that which unit he is not working.
Okay.
And plus he has even informed about the contact details in case they want some clarification that can be done by contact.
Very good. Okay.
And it is very short, crisp, and up to the point.
Okay. Okay. Good. And what are your comments upon the other 3 writers? Let's say, for example, number 1. Sorry? Okay, you are talking about language still not being okay. Okay, a lot of typographical. Careless. Okay. Let's say English language or language proficiency is not an issue. I mean, I'm giving you that assumption. Under those conditions, let's discuss this. Typing mistake, yes. And what else? Too technical, okay. You mean this one? Too technical? Technical, would you say? Redundant maybe? Okay. Huh? Too flowery language, probably, okay, good, good. Yes, it's not easy to understand. He writes, probably he wrote for the love of his writing, right? And number 2, Suresh? Very long? Okay. What is the tone and the style that you see? Are they the same? How different are they? The style of writing, the tone of writing, the tone. You know, tone is something like when you meet someone, immediately somebody is friendly, somebody is distant, somebody is perhaps overpowering, somebody doesn't interact at all. I mean, you know, interpersonal. So when you read something, do you get something like that about these people? Okay. Okay. Suresh is second one. Okay. About the language? About the language and the way they communicate the same issue?
Sir, excuse me. The first one is like demanding, like for example, if you want to do some work to be done, suddenly putting full authority. I have given money, why it's not working?
Okay.
I don't think it's like showing authority.
Okay, okay.
Getting angry.
Okay.
To say negative thoughts. That is first thing.
There is some anger and negativism, negativity.
When you go for Mr. Suresh, you can see whatever we have done in positive approach, the negative thought is giving in positive way.
Okay.
This has happened, this can be rectified. Then we can see positive approach. For example, when you are seeing some person, see this happened, this can be done.
Yes.
Normal communication.
Okay.
When you go for Balakumar, it is like trust. He is giving, his written was coming as a trust. See,
Okay.
I trusted you, and I am giving you this work.
Okay.
But if you do it this way,
Mm-hmm.
how can I do trust you again?
Okay.
So the written communication comes like trusting.
Okay.
And whereas fourth, coming back to the Satish, is very crisp and is very clear that the problem has to be rectified.
Okay.
So I think so in all this four, the fourth one will be given first to Satish, followed with Balakumar,
Okay.
then Suresh, then
Fantastic, fantastic. You see, what's your name? Dr. Krishna, I'll call you. Dr. Krishna says he has seen something that many of us have not mentioned. He has seen anger, negativity, positivity, and trust being, the test that was placed being broken and all that, okay? Normally you get these feelings only when you interact with people directly, right? And for a long time. But here one message, we are neither connected with the writer nor with the receiver, but we are able to see. That's it. That's the hidden power of written communication. A lot of feelings can be detected, whether these writers intended like that or not, we don't know. But as receivers of the message, we are able to pick up certain feelings, which is very, very essential in written communication. The written communication is not without feelings. Very, very clear. Very quick, in addition to very great points you all made, and very sloppy writer, too many spelling mistakes, and didn't bother to check. Maybe the organization, does it inspire trust in you? Suppose you want to make a new design or you want to develop a new material with these people, would you go back to them? This person, that is by seeing Ajay's message, do you get a confidence that they will do a good job? Very difficult. And Suresh's message number 2, better language but highly bureaucratic. Somebody has a problem, they have told me this, I am telling you this, you, him, take care. I am not in the picture. My job is to inform, I inform. Bureaucracy. Number 3, Balkumar's message is what we call the bombastic style, very difficult to understand kind of words, and archaic, old usage. Very difficult. I mean, you have to go to the dictionary to find out what it is. If you rightly said twice, you have to read it. Correct? Whereas, number 4, Satish's message very clear, which machine, who can be contacted. If I don't know the problem, but you want more information, please call this person. This is the number. So that one, he gives all the details that can be won. Now, from effectiveness point of view, all of you said that Satish's message is better because contact details are given. So what is the issue here? Forget about the 4 personalities and the way they are. What is the issue here? Machine is not working, and therefore what do they want? For what? Rectification, which means that control panel should start functioning at the earliest possible time. So that's the output that they want. And for that output, 1, 2 and 3, they have not said what is the nature of the problem, what is the model number, type, where it is, etc., is not given. Therefore, even if a service engineer is on call, he wants to move to this site, he will have a lot of unanswered questions. They may rush to find out that this machine is obsolete and spares are not available. I thought the problem was this, I brought the wrong set of, but the problem is different, therefore I don't have the spares, I'll have to go back and get. So there is potential for any further delay. Whereas in the case of number 4, all details are available. If there is any mistake, it can only be from the service engineer's mistake. The engineer will call that person, Mr. Kakkad, and find out what exactly is the nature of the problem. Probably he will do some telediagnostic, go ready with a potential set, possible set of 2 or 3 PCBs or solutions, and can get the machine turned around in one visit. That is effectiveness. Okay. So, given that this is the situation, communication can make all the difference of my machine. If the control panel is on, then my factory or production is back on schedule. That means the impact of that is huge. Right? Therefore, my question is, like who, out of these 4, what kind of style, what kind of a communication you and your business would like to make it a habit for yourselves? What kind? Which of these 4 would you like to emulate in your organization and businesses and for yourself? Number 4, very clearly, okay? And obviously that gives you confidence, right? As he earlier on said, quite a bit of confidence that you get, okay? Now here, in the case of your stakeholders, we mentioned about this, customers, investors, vendors, we mentioned, of course, employees. That includes yourself, promoter, the close group, and anyone else whom you have employed. In addition to that, you also communicate with the community around you and media. 2 important stakeholders. Because as startups, if something, a news item comes about your organization or your product or your innovation, that's so much good for you. Or if you are putting up a plant in a place which has some impact on the local community, that might have an issue. Or in the case of a farmer's usage products that these people are making, they may have to deal with the farmer community as a whole, which means that you need to talk their language, talk like them, talk to them. Okay? Therefore, key stakeholder groups get impacted by your businesses. And it's absolutely must that we will be writing, we will be communicating with them. And of course, this focus, we will focus more on the written communication. And there can be many other ways of you can convey messages to these people. Okay? And each of their needs, employees will be worried about something else, and investors will be, what do you think your investors will be worried about? Concerned about, not worried about. So, not the, what would your investor be concerned about? Yes, so their plan, a revenue plan, expansion plan, market, customer, is it going on schedule? Your employees will be concerned with something else, whether we will get the extra funding or whether there will be a tightening of manpower. All those will be their concerns. Similarly for vendor, will I get the payment? Customers, how long can I sign up with them, expect them to keep supplying to me? Various different kind of worries. Okay, so each of those we need to handle in a different manner with our communication strategy. Okay. Now, effective communication is important to your company, and it helps in these manners: trust building, closer ties, client relation, increased productivity, etc., etc., etc. Okay. And we have seen in these 4 messages that the feelings that they evoke in you and the impression that they create about themselves and the company is enormous. Okay? I'll just give a couple of examples on the building trust aspect. Heard of this Thomas Cook PLC going down the tube last week, early last week? I think end of last week, up to end of last week, people are still stranded. Thousands and thousands of passengers are stranded. The moment that news broke out, Thomas Cook India did a great thing. Are you aware of that? What was that? Exactly. No customer of Thomas Cook India suffered, but still they have taken the initiative to issue a clarification. We are different from Thomas Cook UK. We are not a part of that. We are fine. Your payments will be honored, and your tickets will be honored, and all other services promised will be honored. Have no worries. Enjoy your travel. Spend like you would like to. This message came immediately. I got a message like this because I had bought a foreign exchange card from Thomas Cook a couple of months back. So immediate. I mean, the morning I read the newspaper, and by sometime in the afternoon I get the message. That's fantastic. In fact, I was worried. Luckily, I didn't have too much of balance left in the card. I said, what will happen? Doesn't matter. I mean, maybe a few dollars or something like that. So I said, if it's gone, gone, what to do? But Pat came this message, and fantastic. That is how you very quickly communicate with your stakeholder, customers, and the rest of the people through various medium and gain trust. So I'll be more inclined to trust Thomas Cook India despite all that story that has happened. And your communication with the communities. Just give a very quick example. A public sector undertaking was trying to make a very, very important vaccine, which was till then being imported, very close in Tamil Nadu. But then somehow or the other, some wrong news went out to the community. They said that they are going to make some experimentation on infectious diseases and things like that. Therefore, it's not good for us, not good for human beings and our animals and plants and all that. So it became a problem. They refused to cooperate for the progress of the factory. Then they had to take a number of steps to alleviate their fears and constantly communicate with them through various means and then get the factory going. Therefore, the stakeholder communication, as wide as possible, all the groups have to be kept in mind, and you have to have a communication strategy and use of the written communication and any other communication. And in short, why written communication? As we have seen in all the 4, it affects your company image as well as your personal image, builds your brand. So it's not simply writing a nice, crisp letter or a mail. You are building your brand, personal brand, as well as your business, the company's brand, by writing a good mail or a message. So in another manner of speaking, you know, this is the day of TLA. What is TLA? Three-letter acronym or abbreviation. Okay? Very similar, but slightly different. We'll talk about that later. So, in that way, I made an TLA for the written business communications, WBC, white blood cells, immune system. So, I would rather think that a good WBC, written business communication, is an immune system for your business and business's brand. If customers are happy with you, you are trustworthy to them, that much better for you, or any other stakeholder for you. You build a good brand around them, around your company, by good WBC, that's a fantastic immune system for yourself. Okay? Now, do we now agree that written business communication in general, and written business communication in particular, has a larger role to play than to simply convey a message and get some action from the receiver? Do we agree? It has a larger role to play. It has a brand, you can build trust, and you can keep all the stakeholders under control by writing well and communicating well. Do we agree? Fine. So, maybe wondering why I spend so much of time on need for communication. We are all here, come on, let's get on with it. That's what probably you are thinking, okay? But the reason is, how many of you have heard this author, Simon Sinek, TED lecture? I believe he's the third most seen search author or something like that. Okay. There is a lecture by him, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. In that he talks about some new concept, and after that I think, as it always happens, one good TV talk becomes a book and then sequel and all that. This book I have not read, but I've seen the video a number of times and used it also in my programs. His approach is very, very nice. What is the approach that he says? We start with why. Whenever you do something, you start with your why. Then move to why should I do it? How do I do it? And what should I do to achieve my objective? That's the cycle. Normally, most people will start the other way around. What and how, and very rarely the question of why. That sequence, he talks about why, how, what as the golden circle, and that's a separate lecture by itself. And those of you who like to see, it's a very beautiful video, 15 or 20 minutes. Please see that. It's worth seeing it again and again. So, in other words, how does it help? As startup owners, business heads, and senior executives or prospective startup entrepreneurs, how this why, how, and what help you is that when you are very clear about your why, you can motivate people. Motive force, you give them that. How is facilitate? What is you achieve? Because if your why is clear, then you don't have to keep reminding people every day, right? Well, do that, etc., etc. You don't have to, because you have set up the charge. You charge the battery enough that it will keep running for a long time. Now and then you will have to recharge it. That's about the only thing. Whereas if you simply say, do this, then you say, how can I do it? I don't have this facility, that facility. Okay, you say, you want a machine, I'll give you a machine. You want a room, I'll give you this. Go and do it. And then say, no, I don't feel like doing it. I don't see why I should be doing it. Somebody else should be doing it. So that's the kind of a block you can get. Therefore, go from this way. Golden circle translates into motivate, facilitate, and achieve as far as you as business leaders and startup heads and new entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs. So that's the reason why I started with this, and that's exactly the sequence I'm going to follow. Bulk of this next portion, I'll be talking about how we can communicate with people. Okay? I would like to split the how into two. The question how can be answered in two ways. One is that you can have a mindset. One is that you need to have a mindset. Are we going to go by the mass route or the quality route? For example, somebody can go high quality premium price, and somebody can go economy price but mass market. And what is my mindset about the quality of services that I will give to my customer? How am I going to treat my employees? How truthful I am going to be with my investor? These are all mindsets. Having decided the mindset, okay, if I decide to be above board, if I decide to be premium, then how am I premium and still I'll get the volumes that I want? Those are the mechanics of it, the means. How will I do that? I'll go for cost economy, I'll go for economies of scale, I'll buy high reliability inputs and so on and so forth. Those are all the means with which you will achieve your purpose. Okay, so how can be answered in two ways. So when I started putting this into action, I came into this difficulty, so I split the how into two. So exactly we will do the same way. So let's look at the mindset part of it. How the mindset, which means that we would like to build our brand through our communication. We focus on written communication. To do that, what should be our mindset? To build a brand through nice written communication, what should be our mindset is the question that we are going to discuss right now. Number one, communicate as a professional. Communicate as a professional. The elements of that we will see in the next slide. They're too small to read for you maybe. Communicate as a professional. You may be small today. You may be a two-person, single room or two-person garage, as they say in the United States, a single room or maybe a shared office or whatever, it doesn't matter. I will be a professional. My communication, my activities, my outlook to everything will be professional. Like the Fortune 500, top 10. Nobody prevents you from doing that. Which means that every single thing I do, critical things will always be professional. So that's the first mindset. And what are the elements of being professional? Pursuit of excellence. Dependable, accountable. Make promises and keep promises. Team player. This is a very, very key word today. If you look at the job scenario, the future of job, 2020, 25, 30, any number of years you can take, the top skill that is required for entrepreneur or executives also, collaboration. Collaboration. So how can you collaborate if you don't have the team skills? Collaborate with your vendor. Collaborate with your investor. Find joint solutions. Collaborate. Find solutions for your customer. Okay? So, being a team player is being professional. And within the organization, yes, recognize talent, encourage talent, get things done. I may be the promoter, somebody else may be an employee. Doesn't matter. That's one side of the story. But then we work as a team. Okay, many success stories, all of you know about that. So, team player, demonstrating a sense of etiquette. We will discuss a couple of slides about that. Etiquette. Etiquette is basically standards of nice behavior. Care for the other. That's the one bottom line. What you don't see on our city roads is etiquette. We don't get to see that. They want to go first every time. Okay. So that's not etiquette, but etiquette is caring for the others. Ethical decisions. Ethical decision. Here it's actually about a value judgment, right or wrong. If things are not clear, decide which will suit me best in an ethical manner, and I will make only the right kind of choices. That's the ethical action. Okay. Positive outlook. He said it beautifully, Dr. Krishnan. Positive outlook, something negative. So anything that you say, always try to look at put it across, even the no. put it across in a positive manner. Even if there is a lag in, let's say, your output or growth or whatever it is, and therefore there is a delay in the customer, how do you put it across positively to the customer? So these are the important things about elements of being professional. So the first mindset is being professional. Second, empathy. What is empathy? What do we understand? Very highly talked about term. Sorry? Being in other shoes and doing what? Good. That for good. And further? Appreciate their issues, their side of the story, as you would see from them, from their point of view. Okay? What it means to you when you achieve the productivity for your customer. What you would, what would the, let's say in your case, what would the farmer need when they want, let's say, a protective gear? Okay? In the usage of it, what are the conveniences they have, what are the challenges they have, and therefore what I should do. Correct? So the empathy, very, very important. And for that, you need to have what is known as the you attitude. In any communication, you think of what is in it for you, not for me. If I am writing, I should be writing to you, saying that what is in it for you. And then structure my thought and ideas and all that, and then send it. You attitude. Put always you first. With any stakeholder, when you communicate, you put the you attitude, which means the other person. What do they want? What is their concern? How can I address that? And get them into calmness, control, or confidence, or whatever it is. Okay? Business etiquette also is a part of empathy, because you are respecting concern for the other. And detailing what is important to your audience. That please find that out. Take time. Do they have any biases? Or do they have any preferences? They like something or they may not like something. What is the education status? Age and status. Okay? When the city went on a week-long power cut due to very, very heavy rains, I think a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, nobody knew what was happening. And when somebody asked why vehicles were not on the road, announcing to the people in the microphone, such and such thing is happening, please do 1, 2, 3, 4, do not do A, B, C, D. Why that was not done? A very responsible person from the administration side made a statement. We announced through the television, which reached instantaneously, no diesel problem. Instantaneous communication across television channels. Who is going to see it, for God's sake? City is down with no power. And you go and make an announcement on the television. That is not empathy. Okay, that is not empathy at all. And the usage, what is their status? You are in a dark state, their dark status, and therefore you can't receive electronic messages. There is no point in putting it up. Even 24/7, you run only that bit of news. It is not going to be of any use, because you haven't thought about the condition of the user. What style they will need in communicating. Personal and professional concerns, if there is any, you need to talk about. That is necessary to be empathic. This is important. Style. Let's say to put up an expanded production facility of all your ventures, you need to write a letter to the government authority to seek or giving an explanation for a permission or whatever it is. Okay? So, in that letter, how should you, the style you write will be like what? When you're writing to an IAS officer in terms of about a pollution control board or any other regulatory authority, you are discussing an issue with them. They asked a query and you are replying. What kind of style, writing style, goes well with those kind of organizations? Can you say, hi dude, Formal, absolutely formal, and clear-cut answer for every query they have raised. Okay? And then show the distance. Okay, you are there and I am here, and that's about. Formal, bureaucratic, 1, 2, 3, 4, give all the necessary information. Whereas within your organization, the style of communication will be very, very different. Customers who are personally known, you will talk to them differently. Vendors, similarly, etc. So the style is very, very important. If there is a mismatch, you got a problem. Okay? So that is one very, very important aspect which can land you in trouble very, very often. Mismatch of styles. Okay? Behave with the person as they expect you to behave. One more thing we normally do not give much value is what kind of a you attitude and the etiquette that we have to show within organization. Organization is a 360-degree communication. Up, down, horizontal, everywhere. Keeps happening. Therefore, the style that you have at every level, up will be one, down will be another, peer will be different. Even with peer, people, there will be individual variations. You need to be sensitive to that. So being professional and being you orientation, be shareholder centric. That is a very important factor. Now we are coming down from there, the overall view of what makes a business communication effective. As you have seen from the number 4 message, facts, figures rather than vague impressions, concise, you have mentioned that, very clarity of expectation. Who will do what? Let's say we have a meeting. In office you all have meetings, progress review, way forward. So we will say we will do market survey, we will go to the customer, we will do this, we will do that, etc., etc. And the end of meeting, have tea and biscuits and go back to work. Next week, what happens? What is the surety that things will happen? Maybe, may not be. Or there may be something falling between them. I thought you will do it. No, I thought you will do it. Does it happen or not? Sometimes, right? It happens. The reason is that we don't assign, when you take minutes, most people have now made it mandatory. On the side column, you will say who, and the next column will be by date. Okay, when you write, if this is the page, the margin setting for minutes is very, very different. This is your left side margin. Text will be only this much, and there will be 2 sub-columns. Only here they will put one asterisk and then say who. And another asterisk, they will say when. By this time it should be over. And that will be circulated in reasonable time to all concerned, so there is no ambiguity whatsoever. The professional communication, successful communication, is one that will give you clear expectations, responsibilities, date, time, and things like that. That's it. When you are expecting extra funding or proposal for additional capital investment, resources, or when you are offering a service to the customer, a compelling, persuasive presentation, reasoning, why they should listen to what you're saying. That is very, very important. So business communication effectiveness, facts, conciseness, clarification of expectation responsibilities, and persuasive and compelling argument. These are some of the hallmarks of effective communication. So essentially we talk about professional approach, we talk about you attitude and the steps of that we had seen, and flowing from that is these reasons for, these factors for effective, what makes the elements of effective communication. That's what we will be looking at. Okay, that's the mindset part of it. So once you decide anything that I write, does it have a compelling argument? Do I have a you attitude? Do I take care of the stakeholders' concern? Okay, am I being professional here? Am I pursuing excellence or taking it as okay, will do attitude? Okay, right from the stationery that you print upon, or the spell check that you do, or the time of the day you do, a lot of things come into the picture to convey those things. Okay, so that is the mindset. With that mindset, when you sit down to making a messages, other things will follow very, very easily. Now, the influencers. In between the mindset and the means, there is some basic things that we need to know about the both will be impacted by what I call the influences of good communication. And we are going to see them in this section. Any questions so far? Disagreement, agreement, comments, addition? Okay, we'll move on. Communication process. Okay. All of you would know that, so I won't dwell too much on it except to highlight a few things. Sender, receiver. Two things. Two parties involved. And here they are given 8 steps. You have an idea, you encode that message into a particular language or in a manner which you feel it's effective. Choose a medium, send it out through the channel. So these are all the sender sides. Then it reaches the receiver, they receive it, they decode your language or the manner in which you have sent it. Then they respond to the message. What are the responses? Do nothing, agree, disagree, postpone, or anything else that may innovatively think about. Okay. And of course, sometimes you also get a feedback to the sender, maybe on anything about the message or about the manner or whatever it may be. This is the basic communication process, which right from electronics communication to human communication, the model is the same. Okay. So appears quite, this is actually a simplified model. And where do you think their pitfalls are? Where do you think the issues, problems can occur in this process? What can hinder and at what stage? Which places can the problem arise out of these 8 stages? Decoding. You have taken the you attitude very nicely. I am right. They can't decode. Correct? Encode. Yes. In fact, any other thing? Encode or decode? What other area there can be a problem? Sorry? Number? Transmitting? Okay, the channel, if it doesn't transmit well, there can be a problem. The truth is, there can be a problem everywhere. You may think of conveying something, but coding may not be reflecting the actual intent of your thing. How often do we say, oh, no, I didn't mean that. Actually, what I meant was this, but then you took it in the opposite direction. Has it not happened to all of us? That means that the gap between thought and the way you decode it, encode it. And the medium can create distortions. At any single point, there can be distortions creeping into the system. If you have a 2-day program, we can run a Chinese whisper. It's a very large crowd. You will have hilarious results actually. All of you might have played that also in some program or the other. Silently, if you say something and comes out, it comes totally hilarious. With 12 people itself, it gives fantastic results. Total nonsense. Because there is a distortion at every stage. There can be potential disaster at every place. Therefore, we need to make sure that being professional, we need to take ownership, excellence and ownership, and ensure that things happen properly. What we have as a thought is what the receiver understands up to this. And then if you have done your persuasion properly, they will take action as you need and then give you the feedback that you desire. It's a very, very long chain. Okay? So the process looks simple, challenges at every stage. Barriers to the communication process. I'm not asking you to answer, but then these are things that can happen. Noise, distraction. What is noise in human communication? In electronic wise, of course, it's easily possible. Signal noise ratio and all that. But here, in person-to-person communication, interpersonal, what is noise? Too much information, correct? and too many issues being discussed. So we don't know. So sometimes the receiver may not realize which is the main crux of the message, and they may pick up something else and go. And on that basis, there can be an issue, sidetrack. So noise and distractions are always possible. Competing messages, when does it happen and how? When you are sending a communication to somebody else, distortion or barrier can happen. Barrier is when you are not able to achieve what you want to achieve to the communication. They don't understand or they don't respond the way you want. And communication closure happens to be difficult because of that's what is called barrier. And what is competing message? If you talk about again too many things or contradictory in the same message. Start an email saying we need to complete the whole project by within a week, and then go on ramble, and then say you have this issue, that person has got so and so, and therefore I think it may even take 10 days. However, we have to do it on time. Please give me your feedback. Regards so and so. Finish. Send. What message? Somebody will read what's the deadline you have given to the rest of the people? What's the deadline that the receiver will look at? 10 days. Correct? The longer the better. The later the better. But the first line says we have to finish within 7 days. Competing messages. Barriers of communication. So within no time, you have lost 3 days and whatever else that goes with that. Filters. Exactly like optical filter. You put a yellow light in front of you, yellow filter in front of you, you will see everything as yellow. Oh, message from this fellow. I know what he is going to ask. Not going to send it. And then let me see what he says. You're not going to reply to it. That's a filter. Accounts. Okay, investor. Fellow will always be worried about the public issue only. Whereas he might be offering you some useful contact for developing something. So we approach messages with our own filter. And that is another barrier. So you view everything. When you want to see red, you put a yellow glass, and what is? Neither yellow nor red, totally different. Okay? So filters. Happens, the reality. You have a filter, they have a filter. Channel breakdown. If there is a internet breakdown, messages cannot be seen. As simple as that. 2 days before, when today's newspaper, I don't know how much to believe that. 2 of the private banks with whom I have an account, both of them at the same time in the same morning, Monday, net banking not working, overloaded. HDFC says too many interactions. First time I'm seeing. Similarly, Kotak Bank, server problem, it won't even open. Today, somebody says, I don't know how far it's true, there's so much of traffic because of the festival online sale. They didn't mention Amazon and Flipkart, nobody else is doing that. That internet program. Really surprising. That much of business comes, and what are we talking about? Downturn and all that. Right? Sorry? Not all of this. I'll make how to create a message.
Okay. So I just had a specific question on the filters part.
Yeah.
Because noise and distractions, competing messages, channel also to some degree, I would say, are within our control.
Yes.
How does one, if the receiver has a filter and says any message coming from me, well, she's probably kind of bugging me for something.
Yeah.
How does one address that?
What you can do is that one is that if you are sending a written message, you can augment it by a personal. You have to thaw the relationship. Okay, personal filters about individual, interpersonal. You have to only create a relationship. And second thing is, possibly you can attract by saying the most critical issue alone in that particular message and how it affects you and me. When we do this by, let's say you are asking for a particular input on a given time. If that happens, I can do this and this is how you will benefit. Or if there is no benefit to them, they are only serving you by, if you help me, it will help, if you give me this, it will help me do certain things on time and I will appreciate your help very much. So I'll probably follow it up with a telephone call or a personal meeting or something. That kind of a filter, individual interpersonal filter, is purely relationship based. Gets into actually conflict and things like that, and that's one way of handling it. And in addition to that, if you like to, if you know somebody is biased against a particular choice of technology or a particular nature of certain project, you can give lot more additional reasons why your proposal is still good. Instead of giving 2 reasons, maybe you'll give 4 or 5 and then relate to their benefits. One is their benefit, another is thawing of personal relations. That is, it is a little time consuming process. So one thing will be to be aware that they have an issue, or you can take a third party help. But in organizations, okay, in a little larger organization, there is always an integrator. You report to somebody and they report to somebody. And if they happen to be common, you can have that as a mediator or escalate it to them and do something like that. But in the case of startups and the ecosystem that we are talking about, it is, if you are aware that there is a little bit of friction because of filters, interpersonal, thaw the relationship. That's the best way to do that. How audiences receive the message. Okay, you have sent it. This program is more about sending it out. We can't control the receiver, but we can be aware of how they receive and make corrections while we are sending the message itself. One of the things that when they are receiving, what you can do is you can consider what they expect. Okay, expectation can be anything in terms of content of the message or the mode of sending. If there is a meeting organized at a particular time, they expect, the audience generally expect, okay, we registered, confirmatory email has come, and I need a WhatsApp reminder on that particular day, morning. Audience expectation. You can fret and fume about it, but that's what it is. Who will remember? I mean, I keep registering myself for 3-4 times every day. Unless the reminder I see on the phone, I don't remember that I have to talk. That's the way it is. No point fighting it. So try to match audience expectations. Or messages of this kind, somebody will tell you, like in commercial organizations, boss will say, if it is so much of an importance, what prevented you from calling me on telephone? What do you mean by simply sending a mail and keeping quiet? Very often such conversation happens. That means that issues of certain criticality must be escalated in all means. It's audience expectation. So if you are communicating of such nature with such a person, whatever they expect, please follow that in terms of medium and the channel and the frequency or whatever it may be. There are some people who expect a day-to-day feedback. There are some who will say, okay, give me a weekly update, or issues of this nature, I want daily. Or twice a day also, very critical. Otherwise, don't bother. Tell me in the next monthly meeting is fine with you. If you mistake one for the other, you are sure to have a problem. If you are an investor, let's say for example, they have some M&A issue and then they have changed hands. And the new set of management may have a different expectation from the acquired startups. You guys must all send me weekly report. You can't contest that. If they expect it, they expect it. Therefore, you gear yourself up to that. Ease of use. Whatever you do, make it easy for them to follow. If it is an email, please make sure that you are sending to a person who has got personal ID, access to internet, and access to a device. If you are sending an email message to someone who is traveling in a wilderness and cannot have access to the internet, no. Doesn't work. There are many places in most countries, in not only our country, developed countries, there are many dead zones where you don't have internet. Okay, so we need to be sensitive to that. Ensure ease of use. And similarly, when you send, let's say the easiest thing is attachment. Send it with something that they can easily open. Something like a very popular software, maybe PDF reader or a Word. Word mobile is available for almost everybody. Okay. Don't send by some fancy software which they'll have to buy, download and enter and stuff like that. Okay. Similarly, size of the attachments can pose an issue. So make sure that it is easy for them to access your message, act upon. Familiarity with subject, familiarity with you. If there is a previous thread happening, please mention that so it creates a kind of a bond. Practice empathy, all that we have said, you attitude, and design for compatibility. Anything that you design in terms of process or a product or something like that, so design for compatibility.